Welcome to the Happy Bones, Happy Life podcast. I'm Margie Bissinger, a physical therapist and integrative health coach, and I am your host and guide on our journey to discover the keys to stronger bones, more happiness, and the secrets to live your best life ever. From nutrition to stress, from exercise to happiness, you will gain revolutionary insights from our leading experts. It is time for you to discover the health and happiness you deserve. Hey, Margie here. And right now we're all going through this pandemic together. And today's guest has a really special gift. She has the ability to help us release inherited patterns that we might be holding on to. What are inherited patterns? I mean, it's something most of us don't even know we have. But what happens in times of crisis like now, they can be magnified. So our special guest is Lisa Thomas, and she's a transformational leader, gifted healer, and intuitive coach. And she integrates business with her natural gifts to help clients embrace all of life. But her specialty is focused on releasing inherited patterns of money struggle, limiting beliefs, fear of success, and public speaking, procrastination, and business stagnation. And she's helped thousands of people worldwide to achieve their business and life goals by releasing these inherited emotional DNA, such as fear of success and anxiety. So this is something I think we can all use. And in the talk, we go over what are these inherited patterns and how do they affect us. And the best part is that at the end, Lisa does this absolutely fabulous around 10-minute release for all of us. It was so powerful. While she was doing it, I felt some tightness. And then when it was over, I felt so relaxed. So I can't stay on because this end piece is just incredible. So stay tuned. Welcome, Lisa. I am just absolutely thrilled to have you here. And you bring such a good energy right now that I think we can all use. So thank you for taking the time. And I know you said you were supposed to be in New Zealand. So
yeah, so it's a perfect time to be with you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thanks so much. Anyway, let's just get started, because why don't you explain to everybody about the work you do and how you got to do this work, because it's not something that everybody does. So why don't you just fill us in so we understand where you're coming from?
All right. I specialize in releasing inherited patterns from our lineage. So we inherit many good things from our mother and father. We inherit our gifts and our talents, but we also inherit phobias and fears and trauma energy. And so I specialize in working within the epigenetics, and I'll explain that. We each have our own DNA code. That makes us 5'2" or 6'5". We cannot change that helix, that DNA code, but within the DNA code is our epigenetics, and that is how our DNA expresses itself, right? So someone might have this innate fear of spiders. They never had any, interaction with the spider. They just were born with this fear of spiders. Wherever they see a spider, they scream, they run, they go into panic, fear, and fight and flight. Well, that can actually be something. Let's say your great-great-great-grandfather did get bit by a spider, and it did impact him, and that trauma of that experience of possibly getting very sick then gets handed down in the cell memory of our energy bodies, okay? And the physical bodies will have that physical reaction. And I release things like that, but I really specialize in business, okay? Because business owners and things like that, they get out there in life and then they hit these limiting beliefs and these beliefs that you can't be spiritual and prosperous, and it complicates our happiness and our life. So I really am able to focus on inherited patterns within my work.
And that's so interesting, because that's how we met, because I felt I had certain blocks, and I had heard that Lisa was this master of releasing blocks. So I've just started your program, but so far it has helped, especially during this time. I mean, I'm a physical therapist. Part of my practice is seeing people one-on-one, and don't have, my job is very different right now, but I think some of the techniques that you've taught are very helpful. But
Good.
in terms of, my question is then, now is a very difficult time for everybody. And
Mhm.
are there inherited patterns that are making things worse, that are
Absolutely.
exacerbating it?
Mhm.
Maybe can you talk to that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can be going along in life and then something it just begins to manifest. So I'm going to give you an example of how it's showing up right now. The stories that we hear about the people in the grocery store hoarding food, hoarding toilet paper, and then those stories about people stealing things out of other people's carts, right? It's happening. But see, they may not even be aware. They may be very acting out of character for who they are, right? But it could be have awakened within them this scarcity. And we don't have to go back to the 1600s for a pandemic for this to surface. Let's just go back to the Great Depression. That's only 3, 4 generations at most for most people, all right? Where there was a scarcity of food, there was loss of jobs and loss of opportunities. And so what could be activating is this scarcity of what if based on what has happened in their ancestors' life. So absolutely it can be showing up right now.
Well, that's so interesting, because truly, Lisa, this is not something that people think about.
No.
Oh, I'm really acting out of character because, yeah, my grandfather went through the Great Depression. I mean, no one would even
No.
think about this, but this is what you've seen, that when you
Oh
release
yeah.
these people,
Mm-hmm.
because I heard stories too. Actually, my daughter was telling me today that someone in her building, I guess, that toilet paper was being stolen. They ordered
Yeah.
it and that didn't appear. And it's so hard to believe all
It's
these
so
things.
hard.
So why don't
But
you?
we
Yeah, that's
go into
interesting.
fight and flight. And so if they've inherited that anyway, then it's going to be activated. Now we always have a choice, right? In how we show up in the world. So it's not that they didn't have a choice in that moment, but let's have some love towards these individuals, because when you go into fight and flight, you do not behave normal. There's nothing normal about that experience. And so I would like to believe that that would be out of character for them. Maybe it shows up a little bit differently in their life um, than that far extreme. But I think that we are all on planet Earth pretty much really good people. And we're going through
How
a
do we?
struggle time right now.
How do we know though? How do we know? Would we have any idea that's an inherited
You
pattern?
wouldn't. You wouldn't. Unless you overheard somebody talking when you were young about family. You know, maybe, there's hoarding in the family. And so you've seen this pattern of people hoarding in your family. Grandma had a house full of stuff. You wouldn't know that. This is something that's in a subconscious. We don't wake up in the morning and say, I inherited this. It's not something that's in our conscious mind.
Is it something though that's a block that we keep hitting in life that we
Yeah.
can't seem to go through, no
Yeah,
matter what
it
we
is.
do?
Yeah. Have you ever had that in your life where you've just worked really hard at something and you make some progress and then boom, it's 3 steps back? Even like procrastination is an inherited pattern. It can be. And that can be because we don't have a belief that we can be seen, or we're afraid of being judged, or we're afraid of failure, or we're afraid of success. And so we'll procrastinate our life purpose, we'll procrastinate doing things for a myriad of subconscious reasons that are operating in the background of our mind. Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because sometimes things just happen and you're like, and the same pattern happens
Yeah,
repeated, like the same story, but just a different time.
that's
And then you
right.
sort of think, this just
Hmm.
isn't making sense. But
Yeah.
that's why I love what you do with
Thank
releasing,
you.
because that's just,
Yeah.
again,
We
it
can get
takes
rid
it
of
to
it.
another level, right? And the
Yeah.
fact that you can get rid of it
Hmm.
is really amazing. Is there other ways that people know? Is there, other signs that this might be a different type of energy that's passed on to us?
It would be if there's patterns in your life that keep repeating, then you might want to pause and go, this could be an inherited pattern. And what I love about this is there's no judgment to it. Like our parents didn't hand it down to us on purpose, and we didn't do anything wrong to inherit. Just like we might have a gift for music. right? We know that because maybe our mother or father play the piano very well. But we might have a gift for learning, a gift for absorbing knowledge, right? We might have a gift of intuitiveness that's off the charts, right? That we get a lot of good things. This is just trauma energy that comes through. Random things like infidelity can be an inherited pattern, where, and we think that it isn't, but it is. You can have inherited illnesses that might manifest or might not. They can lay dormant, but they can also, like, there can be an inherited pattern of ovarian cancer, say, or an illness of pain energy in the shoulder that's just typical to everybody in the family.
And when you work with people, I mean, I know that's your gift. You are able to know if you can see the.
I use kinesiology. I use a lot of kinesiology. So I'm trained in a lot of different things. And over the years, I've kind of morphed it into my own thing. In fact, I train people how to do what I do. But I use kinesiology because it doesn't matter what my spiritual gifts are. If I always trust the client's body, their subconscious, to give me my answer, it allows me to go deeper. Versus if I'm depending on what I hear some ancestor tell me it is, right? It's not that the ancestor might be wrong. It's just that their body, my client's body, that might not be the priority that it needs to be released. So it prevents people from having a healing crisis. It allows their subconscious to trust me 100%.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And so I know we were talking earlier about and this is a very tough time. I know for me, my husband's an OBGYN delivering babies in the hospital, and they don't know if they're going to have enough equipment. It's a very, very scary time. And it's hard. It's not, it's tough for everyone on so many levels. But I know people are saying that there might be some lessons that we are learning from this, and maybe you can shed some light onto that, because
there are. And I'm going to put it into two camps here. If an individual has faced life, meaning they've faced their uncomfortability, they face the things they've done wrong, and they've learned from the experiences of life, because we always have a choice, then this time they're going to move through with more of an inner peace. But if an individual is now being forced to look at something from the universe, then this is going to be like they're being hit against a brick wall, and they're not going to know what it's going to cause an untrusting energy. And that's really important, okay? Because some people might say, well, why are you in such ease? And why am I not in such ease? There's no judgment to this. It's just bringing an awareness that life is about learning from what we didn't do right and gaining that wisdom. So this is some lessons that I think is from this. In numerology, if anybody in your tribe does numerology, the COVID-19, if you do the numerology on that, it means, it has a life meaning to it. And the life meaning to that is wisdom through isolation. So let's just take that right there, right? We're being forced by the universe into this isolation. We have an option. Again, we have free will. We can numb our fear by watching, Games of Thrones and getting caught up on all those games on those shows on Netflix. We can live in the fear by being addicted to the news. So do you see how we are not gaining the wisdom in the moment because we're letting outside influences within our home control how we feel?
Yes, I totally agree.
The news is a negative energy, and I promise everyone you will not miss something by cutting your news in half and turning that TV off. All right? We have technology now. You're not going to miss out. We've got Facebook, everybody tells everybody everything. We can text message, we can pick up the phone. But think of the news and certain types of shows, right? It's like throwing a negative dart into your physical body. And if you have a person that has anxiety anyway, or fear around what if, and this is just going to heighten that. It's going to block your ability to sleep.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then the other meaning about this, do you have a question on that before I just keep right on going?
No, I think I totally agree with you. It's funny. My brother's a physician and he was on the podcast and he was saying how, wouldn't it be nice if there was a good news station? You just turned it on and
Yeah.
all you heard was good news, because it does, especially now. That's all we
Impact.
need is more negativity. So that's a great tip for
No.
everyone to,
Yeah.
number
And
one, cut it in half. Yeah.
cut it in half. If you are that person that listens to it for background music, background noise, like because you already live alone, that impacts you. The noise that's going on in your environment, it infiltrates into your energy system in your body. It starts to ruminate in the back of your mind. This is a time for us to be with ourselves. This is a time for us to let go of what isn't working for us. This is a time to look at life and really begin to trust that all will be well.
Great. So all right. So that's step one. Now, in terms of other things that you can, I mean, really during this time, I just want to give the listeners, because it's, as I said, people are at a place they've never been in their life before.
Never.
And if we
Nobody
can give
has.
them some strategies and help, you know, that's what I'm really doing on this podcast right now, just helping people with techniques so that they can get through this with as much ease and come out the other end with lessons and with, you know, so any other tips and strategies or advice?
Besides turning the TV off?
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Really honoring your time. So if you have this crochet or knitting project that's been sitting in a basket for years, pick it up. All right. If you've been wanting to, you know, develop your music skills, do it now. So for example, I'll give you a client example. I'm working with this teenage musician. She's extremely talented. And I said to her, so what are you doing right now during this downtime? And she's like, oh, I'm on the phone with my friends. We're doing Zoom, you know, and all these things, FaceTime. I'm like, interesting. Did you know that Sir Isaac Newton developed calculus and part of quantum theory during his downtime through his pandemic when he couldn't go to school?
Interesting.
Boom, right? And she's like, no. And so I released this blog for her to be aware of what's going, for her to be aware of her energy system and who she is, and really activated her music so that she could get on there, spend that time, because she writes music just like nobody's business. She's written 3 songs in a week by just realizing that her friends are always going to be there, setting up a time where she could talk to them, and then use this time that's a gift from the universe right now, okay, to do something she wouldn't normally get to do because she would be in school all day.
Wow. So interesting, because that's the thing. The fear isn't going to help us. It's just going to hurt us, and it's not going to help the situation. So when we can take that and transmute it and change it into positive energy, that whatever we're doing to help ourselves, to help others, it's going to make such a big difference. Yeah. So in terms of, for all of us, are there some tips on releasing or anything you can?
Yeah, it's hard to release. I do teach in fact, I have a 4-day masterclass on teaching how to release from yourself. It's just a basic class, but really it's more about bringing to an awareness right now for people. And so what I do suggest is you need to find the positive. So I'm going to give you some more positive about this.
Okay,
all right?
Great.
Because we have to flip how we look at something in our paradigm. All right. So the positive is, the other meaning of this virus is, the life lesson is success through cooperation. All right. So what does that look like? How do we become successful? It's not stealing food out of somebody else's basket. Right. But it might be that when we are aware our neighbor is out of toilet paper, we share. Right. It can be like us doing this podcast and giving back that way. That's success through cooperation. So I'm going to share some things that I see that are positive with this virus. Okay.
Great.
There has never been a time, at least in my life, nor do I think in a few generations here, where at one time we are being gathered together in a family unit. Never has there been a time where we're bringing kids home from college to be with us, where we are gathering with families. Never. Right? Where we're brought back in this isolation to be given the opportunity to deepen connections, this is really what's important, right? Is bloodline is important, even if we've had complicated bloodline. All right, this is a time for forgiveness. This is a time that we're coming together. So let's just take something like I was, and I'll tell you what brought this to my awareness. There was an earthquake in last week in Utah. Then there was an earthquake in northern Idaho. Then there was an earthquake, right, in northern California, 2 of them. And I thought, interesting. And yet at this time, let's say it had been a major one, families in this time, if we weren't together, right, we'd be like, I've got to get my kid home right now. I've got to do this. What's happening to them? And yet we're gathered together in a unit, right? Like, I think it's beautiful that we are being brought back to what's really important in life is those people. And maybe our family are extended friends, okay? Family is just a term for those people that are important to us. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And to look at that as in gratitude, and then the gratitude that we're given this time. And I promise you, when one door is closed and you've lost your job, all right, I understand that that is a trauma energy, but I also know that that means another door will open. And it's this time in gaining the wisdom through the isolation is, I really want you to think about what comes easy for you. What is something in your life that is a natural gift for you that you take for granted because it comes so easy? Because that's where purpose is. That's where life purpose is what comes easy for us, is what we will find the most joy in and what we will make the most money in.
And so when you counsel people on this, so people, because there are a lot of people that are laid off right now, and there are a lot of jobs that don't exist. And it's, you know, people have to pay bills. The reality is it's, you know, sometimes you just can't say, oh, one door is closing, one door is opening. But I guess you have to just have trust and have faith. And is there anything else that people can do?
Yeah, you have to take action.
Yeah.
So you can sit down and say, woe's me. Or you can get on the computer and start to take action, right? And you can start asking questions, and you have to think outside of the box at this time, because shutting down isn't going to help. And there is always another door that opens. So you really do have to trust it, but you have to take action. You can't, it's like when people tap into that, you know, they're going to manifest and they think that it's going to knock on their door and they don't have to do anything. Well, that's a false belief. That's a huge lie. We have to take action, and we have to trust that one thing will lead to another. And when we get trapped in this belief that we have to know the end, here's the beginning, we have to know the end from the beginning, well, nothing will ever manifest, because the universe brings us things that we aren't thinking about. It brings us things, so we might take action thinking it's going to be one thing, but something else will open.
So sort of like following the breadcrumbs, just going one step, then the next step, and then, but so when you get inspiration, follow it. When you get the inspiration, follow it, regardless of what it is. And do you think being in silence, doing meditation, taking walks, which we are all doing now, we are all more contemplative. Do you think that's going to help us get more inspiration and maybe ideas that we're so busy, so much, you know, we're so busy in our mind that we don't even allow for these thoughts to come in. So, yes, so I'm
writing it down. If you get that thought, if you get a prompting, and I love the word prompting, it's intuition. If you get a prompting, which is a thought, you have free will again. You can act on it or not act on it. So during this time, my suggestion is act on those promptings, act on those thoughts. If you get a prompting to call somebody, reach out and talk to them. Just pick up the phone. You don't have to know why you're calling them. And when you hang up, you don't have to know why you called them either. You just have to trust that you're taking action with the prompting.
I love that. I'm a person who journals. I'm a big journaling person.
Yeah.
So you know, everybody has their own routines, but I do my meditation and then I journal. And I cannot get over what comes through or what thoughts come through. And it's just fascinating to me when you, and if I don't do the practices, it doesn't really happen. I may get thoughts, but I really need to calm myself down, get myself out of, you know, out of your day-to-day life. And so that you have the space, I guess,
you need the space.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. So I think that's really very helpful, that yes, we all recognize this is not a good time. So it's not a matter of judging, but just that, okay, well, here you are, use it and use it. And then,
Right. And it's not that you're being insensitive to those that have lost their job. I'm very sensitive to that. I am very aware of it and the struggle, but you can't attach to it. You really have to know and trust that everybody's learning their perfect lesson at their perfect time. And so it's really about, this is your time to figure out what's best for you. And if you've been in a job that you truly dislike, right? Well, maybe getting laid off was really a blessing for you. And then the other thing is, I have doctors that work with me. I have attorneys and these people, and their business has dropped off for many, okay? And they're filing for unemployment. And I'm like, congratulations, you've been paying into unemployment for 40 years. You need to apply for it. Like, get rid of the proudness, the pride, right? And take action in taking care of yourself. And even if it's only 500 a week, that is 500 a week you've been paying into, and it will help calm that scarcity, that fear. So really take action, apply for unemployment, take action to help keep yourself, and take action in making use of these programs that are available right now. Call your credit card companies, get that interest rate lower. Call the credit card companies for anything new that you're going to have to purchase to survive, that it's zero interest for a year. They are offering things because, you see, it helps them to help you be able to pay your bill.
oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So any other tips that you want to, or clearings, or is there anything you could do with everyone, or?
Yeah, I could take everybody through a clearing right now.
Let's do that. And if you're driving, obviously, right, you want to listen to this late, don't close your eyes, but yeah,
That's
that would
right.
be
Don't
great.
close
Why
your
don't you
eyes.
just,
Okay.
for some people, this sounds very abstract. They may have never heard about this, or,
yeah.
So maybe that would be like a really wonderful thing to do. I think we could all
and I'll
use that
clear
now.
some fear and some scarcity. I'll turn my camera off because I don't want to be a distraction. I really want people, I'm going to suggest you drop down into your heart space. And so all that means, and I'll guide you through that, is instead of thinking up here from what's going on, you're going to come down and imagine that you're literally in your heart. Okay?
That's great. Okay, that would be wonderful.
All right, let's do it.
Thanks.
Okay. So get into a comfortable position where you feel relaxed, comfortable. There you go, and grounded. And so let's take a deep breath in, filling your lungs. And now an exhale breath that's loud. That calms the central nervous system. Now on your next breath in, I want you to extend your belly. So this will be a belly breath. Take a deep breath in, extending your belly. Hold. Now exhale and push your stomach in, pushing it all out. There you go. One more. Take a deep breath in and hold. On the exhale, you're going to drop into your heart space. So here we go. Exhaling, dropping energetically right down easily and effortlessly into your heart. Your heart floor is heart-shaped. The ceiling is heart-shaped. The walls are heart-shaped. And you are sitting in a beautiful amethyst flower. This amethyst flower is like a lotus flower. It might be a rose, but it's a healing, cushioned flower where you feel completely surrounded in love, support, and crystalline energy that all brings about a balanced, grounded energy. Accessing 100% spirit, accessing 100% soul. If you are in agreement with me connecting and releasing, say yes out loud.
Yes.
There you go. Beautiful. Here we go. Releasing inherited scarcity. The scarcity that causes you to go into fight and flight. Releasing inherited scarcity from the DNA tissues, the fibers, and the tapestry of your physical body. Releasing the scarcity of food, the scarcity of not having enough, the scarcity of time to be out and doing everything that you normally do, the scarcity of opportunities, present tense, and releasing the scarcity of people in your life, like that fear, that fear in isolation. So releasing scarcity within the isolation energy, releasing scarcity of money, where money has been shut down, releasing the fear of the stock market dropping. So releasing this inherited fear, inherited scarcity, where your money, current money system has dropped. There we go. Releasing fear, the fear of what if. Fear is an unsafe energy, so releasing deep within you this feeling of being unsafe, the feeling of being powerless in this situation. There we go, clearing some anxiety from the stomach area, in the small intestines, in the large intestines, releasing fear in your chakras, in your light bodies, releasing fear out of every cell, organ, tissue, gland, chakra, light body, and meridian. Beautiful. Releasing the feeling as a powerless energy because you don't have control. So releasing this feeling of fear because you lack the control of the world around, like you don't have control of your day-to-day, where you've been forced into isolation, where you feel that your wings have been clipped. So releasing the lack of control that you're experiencing. There you go. Releasing this vulnerable energy as a bad thing. So releasing the false belief that this is a bad thing happening. Releasing the pattern of numbing your feelings because of the fear of feeling them. Releasing the fear of feeling emotions. Releasing the fear of being left behind. Releasing this fear on all levels of not having control. So there are many of you that fear older parents, getting sick. So releasing this fear of what if, the fear as a powerless energy because you don't have the control that you normally do. Releasing the lack of control with the world at large. So releasing this attachment to politicians in the world at large, where it causes you to feel out of control. Releasing this fear. There we go. Take a deep breath in and relax. That's what you needed there. Releasing insecurity. Deep insecurity, present tense, of not having the power to take action, the fear of not having money coming in, the insecurity around what's next, releasing the energetic attachments to the fear of other people, releasing the fear that isn't yours, releasing inherited burden as a trauma energy, the burden of life right now, the burden of things the burden of business right now, the burden of life being different. So releasing this fear of change, the fear of the moment, the fear of change, lots of fear, clearing the fear. And the fear of being isolated, releasing it as a bad thing, and releasing this block that's preventing you from being in the moment, preventing you from expanding your awarenesses. There we go. Now replacing this, that you might feel peaceful and calm from the inside out. Activating your heart to feel powerful and courageous. That you might, distilling also through your crown chakra, distilling the dews of heaven upon you, that you might trust that all is well, trust that everything will come together and everything is happening for your highest good. Trust that new doors are opening, and trust your intuition and the possibility to know that there are opportunities waiting for you. So replacing this to attract the opportunities to think outside of the box, activating this calmness and courage within you to know and trust that you have guardian angels that love you, ancestors in your lineage that are with you and mindful of you, that you are supported. You're supported on both sides of the veil, to allow you to step into a new paradigm, a new awareness, awakening your spiritual gifts, awakening this present moment of inner calmness and abundance, an abundance of peace, and to allow money to come to you in different ways that maybe you haven't thought about. Activating your throat chakra and your heart chakra, that you might have and develop deeper connections with those you love, that you might be mindful of your thoughts, and that you might sense, know, and feel when it is your emotion or someone else's, and to allow other people's emotions to pass through you. Beautiful. All right. Repeat after me and let's integrate this. I completely integrate
I completely integrate
the new awarenesses
the new awarenesses
and insights
and insights
that have been made in this session.
that have been made in this session.
Beautiful. I'll take it from here. Connecting your heart, mind, body, and soul. And raising your vibration to the high vibration of trust, the high vibration of clarity, the high vibration of money to flow to you, and to trust and believe that good things are happening. Activating your wisdom within you to find the good in all of this, activating your ability to detach from the negative opinions and judgments of others. You are thicker skinned now. As I'm implementing and putting and activating a shield on you, that you might be thicker skinned against the negative opinions and judgments of others, that you might be mindful of what's present, and that you might be able to send and receive love. And so it is. There you go. So bringing your awareness back to your breath. You are ever so present right now in the moment as you feel an increase of trust and confidence that all is well. So when you're ready, open up your eyes.
Oh my goodness, that was such a gift you gave all of us.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You are just so very talented. When you were said about the control, and I can't stand when I lose control. That's like one of those things that my whole life I've realized, and I realized it to the point that it doesn't bother me now because I stopped myself. But when you said that about control, I felt this massive tightening and constriction in my heart. And then when you had everything release, it just let go, and it felt so good. Yes, it felt so good. It was really, that was just amazing. I can't thank you enough for sharing that with all of us. And I think that's something that we all need right now. I think we'll all sleep better tonight, Lisa.
You will. You will sleep better.
Oh, well, that just tied everything in. Thank you so much. So if this resonated and people want to work with you more, what would be,
they can go to my website.
Okay.
And sign up for just a 15-minute consultation. Like you and I had.
Yes.
Okay. And then I can know if it's the right thing, and I can guide them if it isn't, right? And then you and I, we're going to offer this money program to your audience. So let me explain it just a little bit. It is it's a month program, and there are 3 audios in there. Now, let's say you don't have a fear of money, right? But see, whatever I find in that audio, so let's say it's like betrayal, hypothetically, okay? Where maybe people, well, by the way, people do betray themselves with money because they don't honor their money, right? But let's say that's not applicable. Don't worry about it, because I guarantee you your subconscious will find where betrayal is in your life, what's happened in your life, and it will release it. So it's a really great program to clearing scarcity, clearing those abandoned feelings, clearing unworthiness and shame and humiliation. It's a great program especially right now, when this is a time to declutter. This is a time to let go of stuff and reprogram who we are. So that's what it will do. And it will also activate money flow. If that's something that's important to the listener.
Oh, great. So so everybody knows what resonates with them. And I think this meditation that you did, oh my goodness, that was just so helpful. And it just brings things to a different level. That's why I wanted to have you on, because this is a different take on things. And you have a very, very special gift of being able to release this. That's so interesting and so profound, really, the work you do, because it affects people on so many levels. And I've just started working with you, so we'll have to see. But so far, I felt definitely releases and from some old patterns that I didn't even realize were old patterns. So
that's right. So everybody drink more water, because I've been pulling shadows. Think of just shadows. Like if you had a visual of shadows on a sheer drape from a tree out front, right? Those shadows, I'm pulling those out of the energy system, out of your body and the cells. And so you're going to be recalibrating, rebalancing. So increase your water intake.
And can they keep listening? Is there any harm in listening to this over and over? Can you listen to it too much?
Yeah, you can. So if you
Okay.
listen to it too much, it's hard on the adrenals.
Okay.
So in an hour meditation that I do in clearing, I ask you to wait 2 days in between. This one, how long do we go? About 10 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. You could probably listen to it every other day.
Okay.
Every 24 hours, you'd probably be fine.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
great. Well, is there anything else before we could talk for hours? You have so much amazing information. But this was
so we'll come back and talk more if you want. We'll
this
figure
was
it
so helpful, and I just love I love how I feel right now. I'm ready.
Good. Good.
It's really a great feeling. So thank you so much.
Well,
and I know that we'll still be in touch, but thank you again for sharing your really wonderful gift with this audience. And
you're welcome.
Look forward to keeping in touch. Thanks again.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's interview with Lisa as much as I did, and you were able to get some releases in that amazing meditation that we went through. All the links that Lisa talked about will be in the show notes, and you can certainly connect with Lisa if this resonated and you feel in any way you want to go further. So I know it's a tough time. Hang in there. I hope this helped relax you a little bit and maybe release some things that you didn't even know you might be holding on to. So until next time, stay well, everyone. Lots of love. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Happy Bones, Happy Life podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe on your favorite listening app so that you don't miss any amazing insights on upcoming episodes. And until next time, continue to live your best life ever. See you soon.